So I think the biggest misconception about homeschooling a child with special needs is that just because they have special needs, they have to go somewhere else. They can't be part of the children homeschooling without special needs, that they need something additional, like from some other special needs school. And in my experience, that is not the case.
What did you play last week?
See?
You played Frisbee last week?
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you play with all the kids?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jody Priest, and I am a homeschool mom of 5 children. My oldest is 14. His name is Strickland. And my middle one is Stone. He's in Challenge A. Then we have an adopted child with Down syndrome who is 11. Her name is Emily. We have Eden, our biological child with Down syndrome, who is 10. And then we have Noah, our littlest, who is 5. And they are all part of our CC community. Our biological daughter with Down syndrome has always been part of us. We've never made exceptions for her to go somewhere else. Of course, we have therapies for her, but those aren't necessarily for her education. That's for her speaking skills and her occupational therapy. But her being part of our community day and our week of homeschooling, one, I see that as she has aged and grown into what I guess we would call a tween at 10, she wants to be just like everybody else. She wants to do the same schoolwork. She wants to play on the playground at lunchtime.
Do you like your friends in class?
Yeah.
What do you do during lunch? Do you go outside and play?
Yeah.
Do you play with all the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I think that the biggest misconception is that I should be putting her somewhere else just because she has special needs. And in my experience, that is not the case. So how did I know that CC and that my abilities to lead my family in CC would be suitable for my family's needs? I mean, I guess the answer is trial by error. I really didn't. I just kind of faithfully started when my oldest was 4. He's never been in any other program. None of my kids have been in any other program other than CC. And I think year by year, we just took those little steps with my boys. They are 2 years apart. We did all of foundations, and now we're in challenge. And then when our special needs kiddo came along, there was lots of conversation like, is she going to be able to do CC? What does that look like? Yes, we have to scale the work for her. It is not a one-for-one match as what her brothers did when they went through foundations. We have to scale the work for her, but it is a beautiful thing to behold because she is able to do foundational parts of that memory work. We laugh because when she's in class, she's the biggest participator. She wants to participate. Maybe she doesn't understand where Latin noun declensions are going. She doesn't see the big picture, but she can sing those songs. And even if she's getting, I feel like the other kids sing the song and then she repeats the last word. She comes in at the very end. Plural first declension.
Good job.
That was awesome. That's great.
But she knows kind of, tell me your first declension noun endings. Boy, she can start them. Do I think that she's going to be fluent in Latin someday? No. There will come a point where we will transition and probably shift from her education as a whole to life skills. But for right now in foundations, she may be the oldest kid in foundation someday, but until we reach that point, I mean, we just take it year by year. I know that CC has met our needs beyond the educational part of it. I think that you have to weigh when you homeschool, you have to weigh, there's the education part and there's the human development part. And CC doesn't leave you isolated in that human development part. It brings so much enrichment to our life and her life and the people's lives that are doing community with us. A special needs child being in community, if I were a mom that did not have special needs children, I would be seeking out the community that had special needs children in it. Because in society today, Eden, our little one with Down syndrome, does CC, but she also does activities during the week where we're not isolated to just homeschool children. We are alongside all other educated types of children. And I can tell you that from a mom perspective, there's a big difference in how she's treated from homeschool children that she's done life alongside and children that have not been intentionally exposed to a special needs child. So I feel like just her being in community is not only doing my family a favor, but it's doing all of community a favor. Eden blesses so many kids just by her presence. Our current FE director has been super adamant that she feels like just because Eden has special needs, it doesn't mean that she should stay back and stay permanently as an abecedarian, that she should move up with her peers, because those are peers that have grown alongside her and that know her. Her favorite day of the week is the day that we prepare for presentation. That is her favorite part of CC. She spends a couple of days a week working on her language skills. Children with Down syndrome obviously have delayed speech. And I think that in my heart, she does this because she just really wants her peers to appreciate her presentation. She puts a lot of thought into
How
it.
do you give it? Do you talk about something and then how do you end your presentation? What do you say? Any questions?
Yes, and then do they ask you good questions?
Yes.
And it's funny because in her peer group, in her class, she has translators. So a parent doesn't get up and help Eden. What we do is we video her presentation and we send it to her tutor. And so everyone knows what she's saying. We kind of prepare her that way. And some of the children volunteer to get up and interpret for Eden. She will give her presentation. One of the children who speaks Eden speak will interpret what she said, and then she'll ask for any questions or comments. And so it's just a beautiful thing to watch them. You can watch them move from the classroom to lunchtime. I was telling a mom one day that I just wanted her to take a moment and pay attention to one of her children that constantly finds himself beside Eden. He is the Foursquare protector of Eden. She does not understand the rules, but she jumps in and she wants to play Foursquare just like all the other kids. And this little boy is constantly by her side and ushers her like, okay, it's time to move to this square. It's time to move to that square. It's just a beautiful blessing to behold these children that realize, well, she's different and she needs a little extra help, but she's just like us and she just wants to be part of us. And we include her, which is not something that you see in all circles of life. So to the parent who's a parent of multiple children and one gets thrown in the mix unexpectedly with special needs, you almost feel like your world kind of stops, like, oh my goodness, how do I spend the time with this child? I am a Challenge A tutor and I have lots of time commitments during the week. But the beauty of CC is that if you look all the way from an abecedarian up to Challenge 4, the beauty is to instill wonder in these children and to empower these children to truly enjoy teaching themselves, to set a foundation of a lifetime of learning where they can walk through the different stages of education, the grammar, the dialectic, and the rhetoric stage. My boys have entered Challenge, and though I haven't let go of them completely, we are at a place where Monday through Thursday, I can release them to do their work, which frees me up to spend time with my littles. And the CC part of our day, I mean, we obviously have reading and we have math that is supplemental to our CC part of our day. But our CC part of our day, we come together and that is a family unit. We do Bible together and then we just pull from the day. We pull from the day and each kid gets an hour to 2 hours. I mean, that looks according to Eden's needs, and her attention span is much less than, say, my littlest at 5. She needs much more time. Her attention span is longer, even though she's younger, but she doesn't have those special needs. So I really think that the beauty of CC empowers me as a homeschool mom, as a tutor, and just wearing all the hats that you wear in between. I think that it empowers me to feel like I am actively partnering with a curriculum that is molding and shaping these humans into great thinkers. And it's not because I spend hours upon end with them every week. The hours are finite. I feel like it's because I have this program and the time I've put in has educated my boys to educate themselves, which frees me up for my littles right now. So the things I've learned in looking at the classical model versus a non-classical model and pairing that with special needs versus a non-special needs child is all of us have brains that you could classify as special needs. My needs are different from your needs in learning. It doesn't necessarily have to be that I have a label on me as special needs. We all learn those same ways. Eden learns the same way that my children without their special needs label learns. It's always at the grammar. It's always at just learning, just rote memorization. It's beautiful to watch that she can learn through the same ways. She may spend more time in grammar. She may never get out of grammar. I don't know. At this point, I do feel like she is in a place where she is heavily in grammar. Whether she gets out of grammar phase and when that's going to be, I don't know. But I do see this particular year at 10, and she is in a journeyman class. I do feel like she is moving past the grammar phase. She's moving past the just rote memorization and moving into what we call the dialectic phase, where her favorite word under dialectic is why. She wants to unpack it now. She's ready to unpack why, which is sometimes hard because I find that I am her limiting factor. I always wonder, like, well, does she understand, like, why are we learning Latin noun declensions? But I feel like I'm seeing that she's understanding and she has the ability to grasp the concept of there are different languages and this is how they work. And that is the dialectic phase that we've moved into, just the unpacking of that rote memorization into understanding the why behind it. I do see that the more time I spent, she's been in CC since she was 4 as well. So this is her 6th, 7th year of CC. I do see that her brain works the same way as every other brain that's not labeled special needs. She moves through the 3 phases the same way. She may just need more time in one phase than the other, and that's okay. So if I could sit across from a special needs parent and just give a word of encouragement, I would tell you that you have been called for this. You were chosen for this role. And if your heart says that I want to homeschool my children, but I just don't know if I can homeschool my special needs child. Yes, you can. And it is the most rewarding part of your day. Yes, you will have to die to yourself. You will have to die to things that you want to do, but it's just for a season. And looking back, we realize that the seasons are so short. There's nothing in the world that I could be convinced, that would convince me to send my special needs daughter off somewhere else. I am her teacher, I am her advocate, I am her mother, and I get the privilege to sit there and to watch all of her successes, all of her joys. I get to hold her hand and walk through those. And if I could encourage you, just trading that for comfort or ease it's not a good trade-off. It's not a good trade-off. Are all of my weeks filled with rainbows and butterflies? No, they're not. But if I look at the forest and not focus on all of the daily little trees, if I look at the big forest, I have the honor of shaping this person into the person that she's called to be, the person that God has planned for her. And CC is only the enabler to do that. It gives us the common foundation at home to bring us all together as a family. It gives us some commonality as a family, and allowing her to be part of that weekly rhythm is just, it's worth its weight in gold. And I would just tell you, yes, it's a juggling act, but it's just for a season. And I would encourage you to just say yes to your child.
Very good. Oh, very good. Very good.